Here are today's numbers in the news. $149. That's how many seconds passed between La La Land being announced as the best picture at the Oscars last night and the correct winner, Moonlight, finally being revealed. If you didn't see this live, the story is there was a mix-up with the envelopes. And Warren Beatty, who, along with Faye Dunaway, was presenting the Best Picture award, actually had the envelope for Best Actress, which went to Emma Stone of La La Land. So when he showed it to his co-presenter, Faye Dunaway read La La Land, and the entire team from the movie came up on stage and started their acceptance speeches. Then a guy with a headset came out and started telling everybody on the stage that there was a mistake. There was a lot of confusion. And then the announcement of the correct winner, Moonlight, was made. La La Land still won 6 Oscars, including Best Director and Best Actress. Moonlight won 3 in total. And there was another blunder at the Oscars as the wrong picture appeared on the screen for one of the people who was being memorialized. So they had the name right, but they put up a picture of somebody who is still alive during the memorial tribute. By the way, PricewaterhouseCoopers, the accounting firm that is responsible for keeping track of the winners, for tabulating the results and managing those envelopes, they have apologized for the mix-up this morning.
54.
That's how many doctors in Ontario have either permanently or temporarily removed their names from the voluntary referral list of physicians willing to provide assisted death. This is fascinating information. According to a story by Post Media, there are doctors who have helped people end their lives but are no longer willing to do so. Some of them, according to the report, have expressed emotional distress. Others are worried about their decisions being second-guessed and maybe them even becoming subject to legal consequences. 24 doctors have permanently been removed from the voluntary referral list, and another 30 have put their names on temporary hold.
$4.3 billion.
That's how much Canadians could save every year if the federal government adopts universal coverage for some commonly prescribed medications. A new study in the Canadian Medical Association Journal says the government could spend about $1.2 billion a year to provide coverage for and purchase in bulk 117 essential medicines that account for almost half the prescriptions that are filled in Canada each year. These are medications that are used to treat heart conditions, arthritis, HIV, migraines, and more. And by using that bulk purchasing power, the government would save billions every year over the current system where there are different purchasers buying those drugs.
3.
That's how many candidates for the NDP leadership race there could be by the end of the day today. Charlie Angus made it official on the weekend with an announcement at a tavern in Toronto. And Guy Caron, the party's former finance critic, is expected to join the race today. Peter Julian has already declared himself a candidate to replace Tom Mulcair. The NDP convention will be held this fall.
$100 billion.
That's how much money Warren Buffett says investors have wasted on fees to advisors who have underperformed the stock market. In his annual letter to shareholders in Berkshire Hathaway, Buffett went on the attack against high-priced Wall Street advisors. He wrote, "When trillions of dollars are managed by Wall Streeters charging high fees, it will usually be the managers who reap outsized profits, not the clients. Both large and small investors," Buffett wrote, "should stick with low-cost index funds." Buffett actually made $1 million bet with some fund managers 9 years ago, saying an index fund, a simple index fund tied to the S&P 500, would outperform them. And so far, he is right by a huge margin. His fund has grown by 85%, theirs by 22%.
2.
That's how many years ago Mayor Jim Watson fractured his pelvis while trying to drive a snowmobile. Remember that story? Well, yesterday, the mayor made another attempt, and this time it went a lot more successfully. City Councillor George DeRuse, who had invited Watson 2 years ago, brought the mayor back to Osgood for another ride. This time they took extra precautions, partly as a joke. They put bubble wrap on the front of the snowmobile. They gave Watson special gloves labeled stop and go so he wouldn't mix up the brake and the accelerator like he did last time, and everything went fine.
27.
That is Rachel Homan's age, and now she is the youngest person ever to win 3 national championships. After capturing the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in an extra end last night, Homan's Ontario rink defeated Manitoba 8-6 after losing to Manitoba twice earlier in the tournament. In fact, the only 2 times that Homan lost in the tournament was to Manitoba. Her team will now go to Beijing next month to represent Canada at the World Championships for a 3rd time. In their previous trips, they've won silver and bronze.
50.
That's how many feet away from an alligator Erik Karlsson was when he was golfing on the weekend. The Senators' defenseman and captain was a guest of Swedish golfer Jesper Parnevik on Saturday. It was a day off during the Senators' current road trip, and they were in Florida, so Parnevik took Karlsson and some others out for a game of golf. And Karlsson was curious about the alligator, so he ventured close to it. But in a video that's been viewed something like 200,000 times, he quickly jumps back when the alligator thrashes around in the long grass and then moves into the water. Parnevik tweeted about it with a video, writing, "Not much scares Erik Karlsson, but this guy did." And he copied Daniel Alfredson on that email. The Senators beat Florida 2-1 yesterday to move to within 2 points of Montreal for the Atlantic Division lead. They are 2 points ahead of 3rd place Boston, and the Senators have 2 games in hand on both the Canadiens and the Bruins. Ottawa plays again tonight in Tampa Bay with a chance to tie the Canadiens.
12.
That is how many years Judge Joseph Wapner presided over the People's Court on daily television. In one of the very first reality television shows, Wapner became a household name. He was recognized as a tough but fair judge, handling the cases of real-life plaintiffs and defendants from California's small claims courts. Wapner starred on the show from 1981 to 1993. The show was parodied on Saturday Night Live, and it was immortalized, of course, by Dustin Hoffman's character in Rain Man, who had to get home every day at the same time to watch Wapner. Joseph Wapner, a decorated veteran of World War II before his career in the judiciary and on television, died yesterday at his home in Los Angeles at the age of 97. Coming up, the comments and the advice of a Canada mother and pharmacist who has written about the opioid crisis. We'll tell you what parents need to know about this challenging issue coming up next on Ottawa Today.
Ottawa Today with Mark Sutcliffe returns on 1310 News and Rogers TV right after this.